All right, boys, I'm going to talk about a concept you've probably heard about, okay? But here's why I'm talking about it. One, to reinforce it further. Two, because you might want to hear my take on it. And if you don't, that's fine. I'm going to make it anyway because I like making what I want to make. And then, yeah, I'd say that's mostly the reasons. But another one is, again, we need to be reminded, not taught, usually. I think most of you are very intelligent beings and can probably think about this on your own. And I'm not saying that just to make you feel better, but I think you've probably thought about this at some point. And it's that you have to realize self-improvement is not it's not a 30-day challenge. It's a lifestyle, okay? And you're on a constant journey to keep improving yourself throughout an entire lifetime. Because if it was a 30-day challenge, we wouldn't be making as much progress as we need to. And you might think, well, why would you want to do that? And it's for the reasons I've talked about already. It's like you want to add on to the greater good. And not only that, by doing that, you'll get back more. And so you're filling your own cup and filling the cup of others. I don't like a lot of the 30-day challenge stuff because, yeah, it can be cool to kind of show you the progress that one can make and what effects one goes through. But you don't want to go in with the intention of doing that. Like I see that people doing with the gym. It's like, oh, let me go for 6 months and then just like get my dream body and dip. No, you have to maintain it. So I want to go further. It's like, well, first you have to convince yourself, right, that this is not a 30-day challenge. This is something you're doing for life. And when you go in with that in mind, you kind of take away that expectation or destroy the expectation that you're only doing this for 30 days. Maybe that could help you. I think a 30-day challenge could help you with something that you find difficult. But for the most part, I think thinking of it as more of a lifestyle helps you get rid of this false expectation of like, not having to do it for very long and things like that. So if you're going to do it for a lifestyle, you find a way to kind of sustain it and do it for a long period of time, because for most of these things, consistency is what's key. It's not about how much or how hard you can necessarily go, even though those may be factors, but consistency is what will get you the furthest, especially when it comes to like the gym or any skill at that. So that's why it should be a lifestyle and not a 30-day challenge. That expectation, that 30-day challenge will lead to like a false set of expectations, right, about how much progress you should make and things along that nature, I guess you could say. And so when you make it something about a lifestyle, you kind of almost have to have more of a reason to why you should sustain it. And that's where the why comes in. It's like, well, why would I want to do this for a lifestyle? Why would I want to keep at this? Maybe it's not the gym for you. Maybe for you it's like swimming or a form of cardio. Like do something you're willing to do so that you're willing to do it for longer and actually make it into a lifestyle change rather than just a 30-day challenge. And that doesn't necessarily go for the gym. That goes for any habit, And you're doing that so that you could suffer a little bit less. I think that's why you're ultimately doing it for. Because I genuinely think most people don't necessarily want to be happy. They just don't want to suffer more. So they just want to be able to not suffer as much as they previously have. And of course, allocating your time to things, especially with the perspective of doing it for a lifestyle, will help you want to think about how you could sustain that for a long period of time and do something that you actually want to do. Therefore, maybe enjoying your day a little bit more, but also making your day better. And as a result of that, if that has a positive impact on your life, then the people that you interact with, you could have a positive impact on their life. So it's just like a crazy ripple effect. But yeah, this is a pretty short video because I don't feel like I need to go into this and as as much as most might think. And I think for real, this one's going to be a short one. But yeah, I simply think you shouldn't really try to make it a 30-day challenge. It serves you better to have it as a lifestyle, even if that's harder to think about. It's like, how am I going to sustain this for a lifetime? It's like, okay, now think about that. How can you actually make this interesting? Even if you do it for a little amount of time, if you do it a little amount of time for every day, it's better than doing all of the work in one day and then absolutely quitting and dropping it, right? So start slow, start with something small, do it as consistently as possible, progressively overload to do as much as you think you can do and what you're willing to do, and do it in something that you're interested in, right? This goes for like a lot of gym hobbies and things like that. Like you could do the gym, you could do weightlifting, you could do resistance training, you could do, I just said the same thing basically, but yeah, you could do boxing, you could do swimming, you could do cardio like running, you could do a whole different lot, and you can apply this to a lot of different things like your work. Like how could you sustain your work for as long as possible? How could you sustain meditation for as long as possible? Even if you don't do it for as long as you think you can one day, like try to not give yourself the excuses, but if reasons pop up, try to find ways to still continue that habit as much as you possibly can. And yeah, I think if you switch your mind to a lifestyle instead of a 30-day challenge mode, then you're just going to have a lot more success, even though it's initially harder to think about how you could sustain that long term rather than just a 30-day challenge. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you. Peace. Take it easy.